Hi everybody, Craig Greenwood here again on this lovely evening here in Taupo. Just had a few minutes to kill, so I thought I'd just have a bit of chat on the phone here. Isn't it funny how sometimes something can happen that you really don't expect, weren't expecting to happen, saw it coming out of the blue, and it really sometimes can really throw you a little bit. So that thing happened to me today, so that was, I just want to share that with you. It's kind of really weird kind of feeling, but quite neat as well. So my father died 22 years ago, and you know, like everybody, I miss him and all that kind of stuff, and always wondered what he would be thinking of today's, you know, economy and COVID and everything else. And so we were doing a corporate day today, and a guy came up to me and said, look, I knew your dad, and in actual fact he died of a blood clot from a broken leg. And he came up and said, oh, that when he was sitting at home, it was actually snowing at the time in Okuni, on his couch with his broken leg, and I went to see him, and he asked me to get a book off the shelf, and he pointed to this red book on the shelf. So this gentleman kindly got it for him and sat down, and they had a look at it together, and it was all about economic cycles throughout history and stuff. Which when I heard that today, my heart almost stopped. Unbelievable. It's just I never knew that my father was into that type of thing at all. We never talked about it, and certainly back in 1997 or 98 when he passed away, I certainly wasn't into this stuff at all. Very naive, just you know, I was just doing my own thing in my own little world, and couldn't really care less what was happening in the bigger picture, so to speak, which is I think what most people are today. And to hear that from somebody who I didn't really know was quite heartwarming, if you like, to think that my dad had been thinking on the same type of lines. Now those days, of course, there's no YouTube videos to watch, it's all just books and everything else, which I'm not a big reader, and neither was he. But it's really kind of just encouraging to know that obviously, you know, at our age now, we think about the same kind of stuff, because I'm almost at his age when he died. I'm a bit younger, but almost. So yeah, I found that quite amazing, really amazing, and but also a little bit sad at the same time, because it makes me wonder, you know, why wasn't I thinking about this kind of stuff back then? And was it because I didn't have anybody questioning that kind of stuff or asking me about that kind of stuff? Was I just not interested? Had I not maybe had something happen in my life to make me think outside the square and look at the bigger picture? I don't know. It's a hard one. And for me, and I might have said this on the earlier videos, what really got, there's two things that really got me down this path of seeing the world for what it is, rather than what the media and or government would like to think it is. So to me, the main reason, or two of the main reasons were down. The first one was that I witnessed an event one day, and it was a pretty big event, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, that's going to make the TV, make the news. Sure enough, that night it did. But when I saw the news bulletin, I was horrified, because they portrayed it completely differently than what I saw in real life. Like, it might have as well been a different event. It was amazing. And so that kind of started me thinking, I mean, I was there, I witnessed this event live, and yet the news media portrayed it as completely a different story. And so that's when I started realizing, well, shit, if that's not true, what else is not true? And of course, the other thing was the 2008 global financial crisis. I felt it in my bones that it was coming, and I knew something like that was going to happen and going to come, but I had no reason, or no professional reason, if you like, or educational reason why this might occur. And so then, of course, it came. I started looking into the videos, started finding people that all predicted this way before it happened, and had been right every other time as well. 87, 2000, all that kind of stuff. And so then I realized that there's a whole world out there of people that see history for what it is, can read what's going to happen in the future, because history always repeats itself, unlike what some people might think. And you know, you just start opening this whole world of seeing the world for what it is, rather than what most people would leave you to believe. Now, interesting thing, and it would be interesting for most of you to have a look and to see where I'm coming from on this. You see it every night now on the news. I mean, I can, and when you had your eyes open up, you can see it very easily. But if you watch most news bulletins nowadays, compared to if you go back and if you're lucky enough to go and find some news that was 40 years ago, it is night and day difference, like just completely. So in the news 40 years ago, they told you the facts, and then they let you decide what you might decide from those facts. That doesn't happen today. I virtually never ever hear a news item or watch the news or hear the news of a factual thing. It's always politicized, it's always opinionated, it's always one side only. So, you know, and of course that's how people get to make those decisions, because if you only ever get told one side of the story, of course that's the side that you're going to, it's the only side that you know. So how are you supposed to say anything else? And if you are people like me, and I'm assuming most of you people listening to this, because if you're listening to this, you're a bit of a thinker, you think, you know, you look at the bigger picture rather than just be led by sheep or followed by sheep, and you know, you can see things for what they are rather than what people would like you think you to see. But of course, what happens in that scenario is that it's quite daunting sometimes, because you're not following the 99% of the population, so therefore you're a bit of an outcast. And they have this you know, this word out there, this, you know, conspiracy theorist, which is, again, as we know, it's government propaganda to stop you thinking outside the square. So, you know, basically what they're saying is that if you question everything, and if you don't believe and have complete faith in the government, there's something wrong with you. You know, and what country does that sound like to you? And yet that's what people want you to believe. And I've even got friends who question my sanity, I guess, because they really think, well, that's a bit weird. You know, you're not really going with the majority of the population here. There must be something wrong with you, which is a shame. But it's yeah, it's a shame. So it comes back to my father thing today, is that, you know, even though I know in my heart and my soul that what I have seen going on in the world with this virus and the economic collapse and the reset that we're going to do, and this is going to be a huge depression coming and everything else, I know in my heart that it's all true and it's unfolding as I predicted. But there's always a little bit of me that thinks, well, what if you're wrong? And, you know, what if you are an idiot and you have lost your marbles, and you know, 99% of the population out there are correct and you're wrong? And, you know, so there's always that little bit there that stops you, keeps you honest, I guess. I don't know if honest is the right word. But when I found out today that my father also studied cycles and looked at the kind of bigger picture and everything else, it was a kind of a reassurance, if you like, that I'm not just an idiot. That there's a lot of people out there that look at the bigger picture, don't just believe what government tell us, because they have an agenda big time, we all know that. And we aren't scared of asking the right questions. We aren't scared of finding out the facts. In actual fact, we want to, because we want to enrich our lives and support our family and to have a better life and be prepared. Whereas, again, 99% of the population, I don't think do that. They just want to know as little as possible in order for them to run their life and be happy. Anything else they don't want to know. And again, I can understand that, because I used to be like that. And so it's amazing what maybe makes people change and see the bigger picture. It'd be interesting to hear why are you listening even to this, and what made you think of thinking outside the box and not being the 99% of the population, and what life-changing event maybe that you went through that did that. I don't know. Interesting to see your thoughts. Subscribe and like always, and I hope everybody has a great evening. Until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.